Guys, it's the Freddy Fact, where we go deep, where we have real conversations, right? This is it, you guys. I appreciate you guys continuing to chime in with us. I appreciate you guys showing up here at 8:30 live with me on a consistent basis, right? We've been meeting every other day. Now we're going to start being more consistent and meeting on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Same time, 8:30. This is what we're going to be doing moving forward. It's liable to change at any point, but this is a new updated. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. I'm excited for today. Welcome in the building. Thank you all for joining. Continue to come in. I'm excited. I'm excited about what there is to come. I'm excited about the success that we've had thus far. I'm excited about the growth that we're experiencing. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Tell me where you from. I appreciate the hearts. I appreciate y'all coming back in the community. I appreciate y'all. I know y'all are excited about what we're going to talk about today. I'm excited as well. I'm excited to be able to give information to help move forward, help the community move forward, help you move forward in your personal lives, help you move forward in your professional lives, help you move forward psychologically, mentally, spiritually, financially, right? All those areas. I want you guys to continue to grow in every aspect of life. That's what it's all about. That's what the LaFred effect is all about. Thank you all for joining in. I see y'all coming in now. I'm excited. I know a lot of folks start joining in at a 3-minute mark. So I'm just going to fill it in right now, get you guys prepped and ready for what we're going to talk about, right? Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited. I put this together because last meeting we heard a lot about this word. We heard a lot about this and that, and I heard what the community was saying. So I wanted to put it together for you guys. I wanted to put it together in a way that you be able to understand. Of course, you guys know I like to share stories, so we're gonna have a couple stories to help drive home, what we're talking about here, so we can walk away with something new and fresh and be able to apply it to our lives right away. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about it, you guys. It's the Freddy Fact, where we have real talk, we go deep, and we build forward. So I'm excited once again, you guys. Here we're going to talk about confidence in action, right? Confidence in action. This builds on what we've been talking about before, about mindset, building that mindset, right? If you set that mindset properly, you'll start to walk in confidence, right? Believing within yourself, believing within your capabilities, right? Building that mindset in order to know that you have what it takes. You have enough, and you continuously build on it. It's not that your mindset is already complete. You know what I'm saying? We continue to learn new things through the experiences that we go through, right? The people that we interact with. We're continuing to build in that mindset in the right manner, right? We continue to build on it. And then what comes out of that is confidence in what we do on a daily basis, confidence in how we interact with people, confidence in how we get things done, right? A lot of times when you have that confidence, right, you show up in a different way, right? When you have that confidence, people want to hear what you have to say, right? And what confidence looks like when you see it, right? So I'm excited about the stories I'm going to share with you guys about when I displayed a level of confidence, right, that got me good results, that helped me build different relationships, right? But I want you to understand that it's not about having a confidence for like a moment. That's like being confident in a moment. But we want to have confidence throughout our entire life. We want to have confidence as we continue to walk, as we enter new doors and new opportunities, right? Because it's not that you have to know everything, right? It's that you're confident that you'll be able to learn and pick up the pace, right? It's confidence is knowing that you don't have to say anything in order for your presence to be known. You can just show up and you know that you're confident and people can see that about you. You don't always have to be the one having the most to say. Confidence isn't loud, you guys. Let me talk about what confidence is not. Confidence is not boastful, right? Confidence is not overcompensating, right? You're doing like a little too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, understand what value you bring and do that. You know what I'm saying? Lather it on, nice and smooth. You don't have to do too much. You know what doing too much means, right? You know what I'm saying? What confidence is not is avoiding feedback, right? When you think you got it all and there is no one else that can, give you a nugget here and there. That's not confidence, right? I'm so appreciative of the feedback that I get from the group. Welcome in, you guys. Welcome in. Glad you're in the building. Glad you're in the building. We talk about confidence in action, right? And I talk about how I appreciate the feedback because I'm customer service driven. I want to make sure you guys have what you need in order to take on a daily day basis, take something new, take some new perspectives, some new insight, and take it back to your people that you love, take it back to your colleagues, right? Take it back to like what you do in your field to make a difference in this world, right? It takes feedback in order to continue to progress and move the needle, right? And the lack of confidence won't allow someone to take that feedback in. So another thing that is not confident is being on the surface level. I mentioned we're going to go deep, right? In order for us to move forward, we gotta go deep, right? So I have that level of confidence in order to take it there, in order to share with you guys stories that I've experienced, right? Good and lessons that I've learned, right? Good experiences and growing opportunities. I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm going to go deep because I'm confident. I'm a confident guy, and I continue to build my confidence over my lifetime, right? All right. Another thing that confidence is not is not being vulnerable. You're not confident if you're not able to be vulnerable, right? Be able to share your soft spots, right? To be able to let down your guard. That's a lack of confidence if you're not able to do that, right? If you're not able to let someone in to really get to know you, that's a lack of confidence, right? All right. So what I'm gonna tell what confidence is, right? It's the opposite of what all the things I said. When you're confident, you're able to admit when you're wrong. I'm not always right. Sometimes I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm confident if there's something I don't know and I admit that. I'm able to say I don't know and that, potentially I could follow up and, on that and let you know. Especially if it's of interest of mine, and something that I want to learn, I can just, follow up with you. It's okay not to know something. That's a level of confidence, right? Those are things that I've been able to improve on as life is going on, right? You don't have to like have it all together at all points. You know what I'm saying? I know this group is comprised of a range of 18 to 45. That we're all young in that category. That means we're still growing and learning. We're still able to build confidence. You know what I'm saying? So confidence it means that you're not shrinking, that you're able to show up with what you have and be willing to learn and grow. Okay, you guys, here's a story, a real life story. So my first internship coming, I'm still a college student. I'm a young guy. I'm like 18, 19 years old. My first internship. Welcome in the building. Welcome in the building. What's up, Chris Plummer? What's up? My first experience. Working in the field as an engineer, manufacturing engineer at a automotive company, right? I'm in Toledo, Ohio, right? Working at this company Chrysler. I can tell you that, because whoever I'm about to tell the story about, I don't know his name, and he probably already retired, right? And we know the automotive facilities, they have thousands and thousands of employees. So it's going to be a whole bunch of different personalities. So it's nothing on this guy. It's just that, it's part of the volume of different people that you're going to run into different people like this. So I kind of already framed the story. But essentially, I was walking, you know, curious, learning the process and whatnot. And I saw the opportunity to interact with somebody because I have a good eyesight, right? I saw something that caught my eye and I wanted to talk to the operator about it. It was a defect on a vehicle. We was making the Jeep Cherokees. They make the Wranglers out there in Toledo, Ohio as well at Chrysler Group, right? I was a manufacturing engineer and I saw a defect on a vehicle. And I understand how important it is to eliminate defects, right, out of your system. You want to have these perfect cars going down the line, right? So the customer can buy and the customer can be satisfied. So I saw this little defect. It was like a tar spot on the vehicle. And I said, hey, I was talking to the operator, calm. I'm 18, 19 years old. I don't really know much. I just wanted to strike up a conversation, right? I'm just, walking around, looking around, and I say, hey, it's this defect on the car. And, once I brought that up, he just went off, literally. And the thing is, I understand both sides of it. It's like you got this one guy that's interested, but the guy might feel like I'm in his business, or I might be accusing him. So he got defensive. That's what happened. He got defensive, and he just like went off on me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that's not my responsibility. He wanted, exclude himself from that defect. That defect had nothing to do with him, and he wanted to let me know. And he wanted to squash it right then and there, because he's doing his job, right? And I'm actually just striking up a conversation to learn about what he's doing for the company. And I don't know why I picked him out in order for, like, me to learn something, to get closer to the operator, to understand the process. But I did. That was just one point that I saw that I could talk to him about. Other than that, the vehicles are perfect. You know what I'm saying? So after that, literally, that was the end of the conversation. I walked away. I know it was on a Wednesday, because I remember going to church and hearing a story that, a message that, in order to bless someone, you have to know them. You have to know somebody in order to bless them real good. Can you imagine, like, giving somebody a shirt when they already got 1,000 shirts? If you know them, they already got 1,000 shirts. They don't need a shirt. But if you know them for sure, that person that has 1,000 shirts probably needs, a hug. If you know that person, they're going through something, you can hug them, make them feel better, because they just, lost this or lost that. When you know somebody, that's when you're able to bless them. So you guys, I took that message to heart. And the next day, Thursday, I was going to go back and talk to him. Something in me was kind of like, it was, it doesn't mean that you aren't scared or aren't fearful, in different situations. I heard something in my mind that was saying, like, don't, you know what I'm saying? And I knew that was a level of fear, because I was like, you know what? I know for sure, no matter what happens, the Lord is going to be with me, whether if I go or if I don't. He's going to be with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is an environment where it should be safe and whatnot. And, there's nothing that's going to happen to me. I'm going to go. I'm going to go, because I heard that it said, if you know someone, you'll be able to bless them. You guys, I had a bag of chips in my hand, because I know the workers. I know, I had a bag of chips and some energy powder, because I know the workers are tired and hungry in a way, right? And sometimes they break to have snacks and stuff. So I knew I was gonna be a blessing to this guy. That's what I had in my hands, right, as I walked up to him. And once again, I'm a confident guy. I was confident at 18, 19. I've been a confident guy for a long time, but I was still kind of held back in a way, because something was telling me, it was like fear trying to hold me back from doing this thing, right? I appreciate the hearts. My like, something in me was like trying to hold me back, but I pushed forward anyways, and I know I wasn't by myself in this aspect, right? So I approached the guy, and you guys, he was like, he remembered me, and he was like, oh man, I'm sorry, right? He's like, man, I'm sorry. And that was it. That's all I needed to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like oh man, you went off on me next day. You know what I'm saying? I got chips, I got energy. He said, I'm sorry, man. And next thing you know, he let me in his space, right? He was doing alignment, and he let me in this space, and I was learning about what he was what he was doing for the company, how he was working as an operator, things that he learned for, I'm sure, over decades. A lot of those guys been at this company, they learned different than that, and they've been there for decades, right? You know what I'm saying? The whole Chrysler tattoo and all that stuff. I know he didn't have it, but that's an example of how dedicated these people are. And sometimes they can just be in their ways. And actually, when I got to know the guy, he told me that, he had just like experienced something tough. I think it was like through court or something like that. He had like, a bad experience, bad day. And now here comes a intern, or you know what I'm saying? I'm an 18-year-old, and I was kind of looking like how I look now, just a little younger. So he probably thought I was a manager and trying to get on his tail. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know who I was. He didn't know me from Adam to Eve. You know what I'm saying? And he just, he just reacted without really thinking, you guys. And, the confidence and the wisdom that I had, I came to him, human and human. And that's the prime example of what confidence allows you to do. Allows you to build relationships, allowed you to take that step forward, allowed you to be who you are in this world and shine. That's what confidence is all about. That's what confidence is all about. We probably only got time for one more story, you guys. One more story about having confidence at the start, right? Yes, a confidence is like a building block. We talked about mindset, and now, like, when you got a good mindset, you're gonna start building in different areas, right? You're gonna be like building in confidence, you're gonna be building in integrity, you're gonna be building in perseverance, right? You got to have that mindset to want to be able to build in those areas. Okay, I see it says confidence allows you to be who you are, right? You get that mindset and then you start building on that, right? So confidence allows you to be who you are, to show up at your best, right? So let me tell you a story about this lady who had confidence. Real story. She had confidence, right? So it was something that wasn't going right. It was justice not being served. And she continued to show up to the judge. She had confidence, right? She had confidence in order to be persistent, showing up in front of this judge, right? Until he heard her situation and granted her favor, right? Gave her the verdict that she was looking for. She was consistent. She was just, continually going to that judge, right? This is a lady that didn't have the best stature, right? She was a widow, right? She was old, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, some people write those type of people off, but she was confident about what she needed, and she kept approaching the judge, and he eventually sided in her way. She eventually got justice, right? So when you confident, you eventually lead to being able to show levels of perseverance and persistence and consistency. Like, it's important to have confidence. You've seen people who don't have confidence, but I'm here to let you know how important confidence is. It's urgent. I'm gonna tell you guys, you should be urgent to build in confidence, right? I'm telling you guys, you got to be urgent to get that mentality and start building a level of confidence, a level of integrity, because when you have those things, it allows other doors to open up. It allows you to have justice on your behalf. It allows you to have those great relationships. I'm talking about deep, intentional relationships, right? It allowed you to go to a whole nother level in life. And I'm helping you guys, in a whole bunch of different aspects, right? I'm trying to close the gap. Like, these real experiences that I've experienced, these real stories that I know about, I'm bringing it to you guys because I want to encourage you guys. I want to uplift you guys. I want to inspire you guys. And I'm telling you guys, the reason why we're talking about it is because it's of importance. And I know this is what is needed in this community in order for us to unlock the opportunities, right, that is coming our way, okay? And even if you're doing business with me, you're gonna have to have these things, right, for me to value you on this team and help move the needle and help us get results that we're looking for in order to obtain the level of success that I imagine. And as we work together as a team, you'll be able to experience success that you want at different levels, right? So once again, that lady, she knew she had a voice. When you're confident, your voice matters, right? You know that you make a difference in this world, right? Right? People won't take you for granted, right? And if they do take you for granted, you're confident enough to leave that circle, to leave that area, because you know what you bring to the table. You know who you are, right? Right? So we're 18 minutes in. We did a good job. We had two stories, one personally from me and one that I learned about, right? Of the, like, confirming, reinforcing that confidence makes a difference, right? And I see you guys in the comments connecting with each other, talking to me. It says mindset equal LaFred effect. Exactly. It's LaFred effect, you guys. Confidence is the key to getting what you want. Exactly. That story is from the Bible, right? Absolutely. Yep. It's the story that I talked about the widow, right? It's the persistent widow parable. It's Luke 18, chapter 18, verse 1-8. So if you guys wanted to read about the persistent widow, you can do that in more detail. Yep. That's right, Chris. Yep, Chris Plummer. Me and him, we're like we're old buddies. Like, he's one of my buddies that I've known the longest because me and him, we attended church together when I was a young boy in Panama City, Florida. Chris Plummer, he in the building. He encouraged me every chance he got when I saw him. He saw the greatness in me, you know what I'm saying? And so for him to see me now, it's kind of like, I bet it's like, it's a good experience for him. I can only imagine seeing somebody that he's known for over 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 31 now. So yeah, I knew him when I was 16. I knew him when I was younger, like maybe 13 or something like that. So for him to see me here now, I'm sure he said, yeah, my brother, like, yeah, Chris was look out for me, I appreciate you showing up, Chris. You guys, somebody told me to tell people to like and subscribe. If you're in the building, you haven't liked and subscribed, they told me to mention that because we forget at times. So go ahead and do that for us, like and subscribe. And this is our opportunity to start asking questions to go deeper. So go ahead and start sending out some questions because I want to reinforce what I've talked about, so that you guys can understand how to apply confidence or how to build confidence in everything that you do. So go ahead and get ready for those questions. He's a good friend. Yes. Highly educated. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Connect with us. Of course. Let's build. Let's build together. Let's build together. We just getting started. We're at our infancy stages, you know what I'm saying? But we growing. We're fierce out here. We're confident in what we do. We're showing up on a consistent basis, sharing and giving, you guys. So this is just the beginning. We're going to continue to grow because we got the right heart. We got the right mentality about it all, and we're just going to keep going. I'm excited. I'm also seeing the numbers, the analytic, the data is looking good, analyzing it, and it's a continuous improvement type approach. You know what I'm saying? When you guys show me love in different areas and I see the numbers, right, I'm going to ensure that I adjust, make the pivots in order to bring the word and bring what I need for you guys to receive it well and continue to grow. It said, okay, we got a question that says, what's one thing you want to do but feel unsure about? Okay, now that is so tough for me to answer because I'm a certain guy. I'm a sure guy. I don't like uncertainty. You know what I'm saying? I walk in confidence, right? I ask the Lord to guide my steps, my footsteps since I was a little boy. Guide my footsteps, and I want to be corrected. I want to be going down the right direction. I want to do what's right. So and that's been happening a lot in my life for me to be able to accomplish the things that I've accomplished, right? He said one thing that I'm unsure about. I would say, since my I'm being real, I'm going there. So since my divorce, it was back in January of 2022, right? So it's been a little over 3 years, right? I've been dating since then, right? I bounced back. The Lord is good, and He's allowed me to be encouraged to be able to have a marriage and have beautiful children under my roof. I have a beautiful baby girl, and me and my ex-wife, we co-parent very well. My daughter's mother is a great mother, and we're doing that. So something I can say a little unsure because my experience with dating for the past 3 years is like, if it didn't converge into me proposing or getting married, it was kind of like I learned a lot, but I wasted some time too. I wasted some resources as well. You know what I'm saying? It helped me grow and know what to look for in order for me to develop my filters, right? And be quick to be like, no, this is not going to work. This is not going to work, right? I experienced, within the last 3 years, that I'm not a type of person that wants to be a part of a relationship that's not going anywhere. I had to find that out within the last 3 years. I'm not good with relationships that's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you understand that, we ain't gonna go too deep, but it's like, if we're not moving forward, if we're not looking to build together, I'm not interested. It can't just be about one thing that I might enjoy. It can't just be that. It has to be, something that I'm looking forward to long term. And I've been close. I thought I've been close here and there, you know what I'm saying? And, I could be close now, but, I can for sure say that's something that I've been unsure about, but I'm also in a way unsure about, but I'm confident, I'm encouraged. I understand when to take a step back. I understand like, oh shoot, investing in myself has a greater return than investing in, different things like that. Investing in this community is a good return. I'm growing as well, understanding how to communicate better, understand what information to bring to you guys in order to see the growth and transformation, right? And I just can't stop giving into people. I just can't stop, coming like, into work, looking to like brighten someone's day, looking to move the needle. I can't help but build and grow something, starting small and making it, out to be something impactful. I can't help but do that. You know what I'm saying? But I can step back in different ways, that has hurt me. And I'll take a step back because sometimes I can be unsure, that it's going to be worth my time, right? Worth my investment. So I would say that that's a real, confession that, in this world of relationships, building relationships, you can, have a sense of uncertainty at times because, it's out of your control in a way. You know what I'm saying? You do your best, but, if it's somebody else, they control their life. I'm not a control freak. I control my life. Like in the aspect of controlling, I'm controlling my life, controlling my destiny in a way. The Lord has my back, and I'm going to do my part in order to serve and give and be a willing vessel in order to get the mission done. I'm accountable, and I'm going to be control of that, but I can't control different situations. So that can bring some unsurety or uncertainty, in that aspect, and that's real, you guys. All right, next question. I hope that helped. Okay, it says, you said confidence is the fuel behind every bold move. I appreciate the hearts. I appreciate the hearts. Can you share a personal story where confidence pushed you to take a meaningful leap? Okay, cool, cool. So of course I did share one story, but I'm gonna think about another one off the rip, right? Taking that leap. Okay, taking that leap. You guys, man. Okay, I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail about a time in my career, right? When I talked about how I had lost my first job out of college. I was working for this paper mill, and after a year, it was determined that I wasn't a fit for the culture, right? And I spent 6 months without an opportunity. That hurt so bad. That hurt, you guys. I was without something, and it wasn't that I was just like not working. This is back in 2019. I didn't get so it was like June of 2019. I didn't get my next opportunity until January of 2020, right? 6 months right there. All right, so I'm actually like really hurt by this. Tears coming down my eyes on a consistent like a daily basis. I'm not a crier, it I'm not like a consistent crier, and I would say it was consecutive days, like 10, 20 days back to back, where I shed tears about my situation. It was tough being without work for 6 months, right? And taking that leap was going back to career fair, right? Where I used to, walk the halls of Tuskegee as a freshman, as a college student. Now I'm going back as a postgraduate to get my opportunity, to get my next step, right, in my career, right? And I had to take that leap of faith. Sometimes I admitted to like different recruiters that, I lost my job and stuff like that. And I don't think they helped me after saying that. I think about all the interactions, like, when I was like being transparent and honest, a lot of the things didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? But maybe me being transparent and honest was on purpose because that wasn't the direction I should have, that I was going to go. Because I remember, I said that to another paper mill company. Like I was working for a paper mill company, and then I approached another paper mill company, and I was like, yeah, it didn't work out for me and whatnot, and that was it. Oh, I appreciate you being honest and transparent, and then they looking elsewhere. Okay, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, and the door that opened up was night and day from the paper mill company. It was an aerospace company that took a chance on me. Lockheed Martin took a chance on me, right? And I had the energy, I had the presence, and they could feel it. It was something about me being there after like 6 months of having no luck, of things just not working out. I was in a literally I was in a location where I couldn't get an engineering position, right? I'm in Florida at the time. I'm in Florida. I couldn't get an engineering position in Florida. I was like not really willing to do any regular jobs. Like I wanted to get back in my field, and I couldn't find anything in that location, in that city. It was Pensacola. I couldn't find anything. Like they needed a lot of experience. I only had one under my belt. I didn't have much. I had 4 internships, a year-long co-op, but that wasn't enough. I had to go back to career fair after 6 months. and then I got a level 1 position. I like started all over. I was like, at like a level 1 plus, but I was willing to take what I had. It was a pay cut as well. I went from like 75K down to like 63, you guys, and I had to relocate. Like I took that leap of faith. Like I was not arrogant. I was like, I just need this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate this opportunity. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna run with it. Right? Relocated from Florida to Texas. That's how I ended up with Texas. I know y'all heard about that. Oh, this is ringing a bell. Now I'm putting like more context to the story. Oh, that's how he ended up in Texas. He got with Lockheed Martin after going to the career fair, and he ain't making that much. He ain't making that. I ain't making that much in Texas. I still got my property in Florida. It's rented out. I'm managing the property from a distance, and I was able to acquire another property when I got to Texas. So that's how I got the 2 properties, right? And so I was maxing out that salary, all 63,000, and taking care of a family. I had my wife at the time with me, and we were we got pregnant. Like COVID hit. COVID hit. I was working through COVID. Can you imagine, you guys, when COVID hit? I had just lost a job, and now COVID hit, right, in March of 2020. I got the job in January. Now March of 2020 come, and we hear about COVID. I'm like, literally, I'm a man at this time, and I'm like, I gotta provide for my family. And so I hear about COVID. I'm like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen at this time? I know, people in here probably, was feeling the same thing. Like, what's gonna happen? They shutting everything down. Are they gonna like decrease their workflow? They're are they gonna decrease their staff? Am I gonna like lose my opportunity? I just got here. You guys, everything worked out, of course, right? We were like 2 weeks working in there, 2 weeks not. We remember about how the virus, like it would be on the surface, and you just got to clean the surface and stuff like that. If it's airborne, eventually, it settles down on the surface. You got to keep clean, wash your hands, all that stuff. We lived that. We made it through it. And I was so happy that we maintained, like, what I'm saying? We had everything we needed. You know what I'm saying? We was living in the suburbs. We had food on the table, clothes on our back. We kept our work throughout COVID. I was so happy. That's the leap that I took in order to get back on track. I took a leap from Florida to Texas, from paper making to aerospace, and the rest is history, you guys. I'm mid career now in the aerospace industry, so that's my story about taking that meaningful leap. I hope y'all got that. Hope that helps. Okay, I appreciate it. Appreciate all the questions. Okay. Yeah, that was tough. Yeah, that was a tough experience. But I know people experience tough experiences, times during COVID, right? It was tough for a lot of us. Some people didn't make it through. It was tough. Stuck in the house, not having as many things to do, right? Not having as much money, right? That was a tough time. We made it through, you guys. Yeah, we able to go outside and beautiful days, Okay. All right. Trials and tribulations make us stronger. That's just something I said. I'll just think about it. Next question is, do you believe confidence is innate? Okay. Or can it be trained like a muscle? Okay. So they're basically saying, do you think confidence is just like you either got it or you don't? Is it just like in you or not? Or can you build it? Absolutely, you can build confidence, right? You can have this level of confidence today, and then after this conversation, after this discussion, after this episode, your confidence can come here because you understand that you have to practice it, right? You understand that you got to take that leap, and once you experience something, you're going to learn and grow from that. If you take some time to reflect, right, you're going to be like, okay, this is how it worked out, or this is how it didn't work out. Maybe next time I try it this way, right? And you you show up in a better way, right? Especially if you get feedback. Feedback is great when you can understand how come it didn't work out, right? I encourage you to ask for feedback. That's a level of confidence right there. So if you're shying away from confidence, and after I say confidence is like one of the difference makers, then you start asking for feedback to your coworkers, to your manager, to your friends, to your family. That's an increase in confidence right then and there. Ask for more feedback. That's one way right there. Another way to build confidence is ensure you know who you are. Increase self awareness. Understand what you are good at. Create a bubble on your paper, put me in the middle, and then list out bubble in the middle, me, then list out all the different strengths with a bubble. Okay, a strength. Okay, a story associated with that strength. Another strength, a story related to it. Write it down. Understand who you are. You write that down, you got that image, you say, okay, if it's 5 things, know those 5 things. Some people can't answer the question, what are your 5 skills? What are your 5 strengths? What are your 5 weaknesses? Right? Some people can't answer that. Those are real life interview questions that I'll ask. You know, I'm hiring people, right? I have 3 employees, we're growing. The Fred effect is growing. I have people behind the scenes improving. Behind the scenes is no expectations. Whatever you provide to the community is so much appreciative, is so appreciated. And if you don't do anything else, I appreciate it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate people who take the time to help us with graphic design, to give us feedback. You should do affirmation videos, right? You should post that you're going live. The morning of. They just giving me free feedback. I appreciate it. That's behind the scenes. And then I got a team that's helping us get this content out. That's helping us make sure we show up in our best way to the community. That's getting products out to the community to help drive home what we're talking about, every other day. We're going to be meeting up Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8:30 for now. It could change, but hey, that's what we got to look forward to. So guess what? I'm showing up again tomorrow. That's how, I'm dedicated to you guys. Even though I know we just met today, I'm coming back with another message tomorrow, like nothing happened. We're just going to keep going. What your 5 skills, okay? You want to know my 5 skills? Oh, know your 5 skills. Yep. Know your 5 skills. It starts there, of course. Okay, here we go. A question. What do you say to people who wait to feel confident before they act? I'm gonna stop right there. I see 2 questions. I'm gonna stop right there. Of course, I created a video that says start. You gotta practice, practice what you know, what you want to get good at, practice, but most importantly, you gotta start. You gotta start and keep going, keep going, right? Start that conversation that you haven't had in a minute. You've been thinking about, like, picking up that call and calling somebody. Like, I'm talking about this, and it's hard for me to talk about it because I'm not like that. I will pick up the call. I don't regret anything. I'm going to do it. I'm confident like that. I don't want to waste no time. But it might be somebody out there that has a lower level of confidence, right? In a way that they just are avoiding that call to somebody, right? Start that conversation. You never know where it can go. You never know what breakthrough you get from that. You never know how that rekindle relationship will help you in some ways or shape or form, right? You got to take that step to healing. Make that call. I don't know why I went there, but yeah, make that call. Reconnect with someone that that you really value. You know what I'm saying? Start. It could be working towards creating a business, right? You got to start. It doesn't have to be done in one day. You can just keep taking little steps here and there. We talked about this before. Those little steps, building little steps at a time before you hit that home run. You got to build up those repetitions of continuously doing something consistently, and you'll continue to get better and better. Like, you can't help but get better and better on something that you continue to practice on. Hey, here's another example, right? I read about, be afraid of that person that's repeated that punch 10,000 times, that same punch 10,000 times, versus somebody who's who's learned a whole bunch of different punches. Like, they might know how to punch somebody in 10 different ways. You don't have to be afraid of them. You be afraid of the one that's been punching in the same way 10,000 times, because they got that repetition. And so when they make that strike, like, that's 10,000 punches of expertise, right, coming at you, right, full-fledged. Like, when you focus on something and you continue to do that over and over, you're going to be a force to reckon with. You know what I'm saying? So just stay focused and keep being consistent. Let me go back up to that question. That was a 2-part question. So yeah, don't wait. Just go ahead and start working towards it, and you'll build confidence through that repetition. Okay. Okay, is that the wrong approach? No, it's not a wrong approach to oh yeah, it is a wrong approach to wait, and it's the right approach to go ahead and get started. Okay. Let me see another question out there. It says, what usually stops you from taking action? What usually stops you? Okay, I am a man of action, you guys. So literally, there's nothing that really stops me. I don't really let anything stop me. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, you guys, I talked about the story of something that happened, and something that happened, and something in my mind was telling me um to not do it, but I did it anyways. You know what I'm saying? That is me taking action. I'm a man of action. I'm going to see it through. If anything, I'm going to learn from it. Whether if it works out or if it doesn't work out, I'm going to learn from it. I appreciate opportunities like that to learn. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take that risk. I'm a risk taker. You know, that's another level of confidence, taking risk, being a risk taker. You never know what can come of something that you just do that's different from what you've done before. You grow that way. Take that risk. Being a part of this community, showing up at 8:30 consistently every time we come, taking that risk. I know you could be doing something else, but you're taking a chance to like improve your life, improve the life of the lives of others. You know what I'm saying? Take that chance. Do that consistently, and you can reap the benefits. You're gonna reap the benefits. I can feel I'm taking my time with you guys. Like, we've been experiencing this more, and I'm just like, whoever's here, I'm not gonna just be like just going above and beyond on an energy level. You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure that you guys, coming in here, and I'm not a monkey. You know what I'm saying? I'm a calm, collective guy. And I want to be able to, eventually get this community where it's supposed to be. And even if it's just me and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna show up. When I say I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna talk to you, make sure you understand what I'm talking about. I feel content talking in the pace that I'm talking. Sometimes I do get excited though, because like when we're part of like networking events and I'm around like-minded people, I feel that energy and I just go, 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 go. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's the day to chill and really talk and have that real conversation and go deep, so we can continue to build and move forward. So that's what I feel right now, you guys. A level of confidence. Another thing about confidence, you guys, is not really what people wear on the outside. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, being flashy, wearing, gold and silver and stuff. It's nice, but that's not confidence. Confidence is within you. You know what I'm saying? You can tell when somebody's confident, right? They're not like, just taking up a little bit of space. They're filling the space. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna take up the space that they earned. You know what I'm saying? I earned, where I'm at. And so, I'm gonna enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? That's confidence, okay? That's a level of confidence, okay? Taking risks is another level of confidence, of course. Okay, what does preparation play in creating the kind of confidence that leads to bold action? That's a good question. You guys, I give a lot of presentations on a daily basis for the work that I do. And when I'm able to prep, when I'm able to look over the information, when I'm able to, ask questions, follow up questions to different people before the meeting to understand better what I'm going to discuss, that makes a hell of a difference. It's not going to be rushed. It's not that I'm going to be the only one talking. But if I'm prepared with, how the conversation can go in this direction or that direction, that helps with confidence. I still might not know everything going into that meeting. I've just started this new role, and I'm approaching 4 months in this new role, so I don't know everything. But I've been leveraging the some things that I've learned before. I have a lot of transferable skills, and communication is one of those. Presenting is one of those. Teamwork is one of those, right? And so I utilize all of that I've learned in this new role, and I'm having an impact. You guys, they appreciate me. I feel valued. It's great. I'm working on a high priority project. It gains a lot of exposure, and I'm doing a good job, asset to the team. And so, how I'm able to show my level of confidence is to prepare myself for that particular meeting. I'm in meetings a lot. I present a lot, and I know for sure preparation plays a huge role in the kind of confidence that you want to have in order to have bold actions. Okay, for sure. Let's keep the questions going. Yeah, networking event feels tiring sometimes. Yeah, of course. Okay, it's different type of personalities, right? You got an extrovert and you got an introvert. And you guys, I've learned the skill of being like a ambivert, right? That's like in between, introverted person and extrovert. Like I don't. I used to be the one that like would talk a lot. Now I've learned in like in the setting, and it's okay at that time. Like when I was in high school and stuff, you know, I was like, someone who could hold a long conversation. At the time, people didn't really see that as an asset. Now, in this world, they like, oh, a skill of holding a conversation. Now to be able to hold a conversation is attractive. You know what I'm saying? Of course, in relationships, it's always like been a good thing for me. But just like being in a crowd, people would probably say that because they didn't have the same level of skill. Now, of course, that skill is paying me tremendously. To be able to communicate well is paying me tremendously. So, people in the past would be like, they shouldn't have been focusing so much on, me and, what I was able to do so well and thinking of it negatively, but, they should have been working towards building those skills because, being a good communicator is of high value. Okay. Um, Okay, I know I got on that tangent because networking event can be exhausting. I mean, if I went to 100 networking events and I had to travel, and I would, my energy would go down eventually. But it's also kind of how you're wired. Some people are energized by being by themselves. I energize that well as well. I'm able to energize myself that well as well. Some just listen to music in my car or just with the radio off by myself. I'm able to increase my level of energy to like replenish myself. And then also people, like I'm strengthened by people. I'm strengthened by being connected with people. Like as an extrovert, like when I get around people, I get like even more excited. I feel the energy, and I feel the calling in me to give, no matter what it is. Just like showing up could be a way of giving. Saying hello could be a way of giving. And I feel that opportunity. Like I light up. I light up like a star. And because my position in life is to be the light, what I'm saying, to be the salt of the sea, and I'm able to do that. I feel inspired. I know I'm in the right place wherever I'm at. I pray to be in the right place at the right time, right? So wherever I'm at, I'm supposed to be there. And my extrovert side comes out. But I've been able to like be whatever I need to be at that time, whatever that I have the capacity to be, whatever I feel comfortable being, because I'm not fake. I'm who I am, right? I have the confidence to be who I am, right? I have the confidence to let go if I need to. I have the confidence to pursue if I need to. So I hope that helps with that. Okay. Because you got to be real. I see the laughing face. You have to be real. Continue to know yourself, Mercy. Continue to prove who yourself. Prove yourself to yourself, right? To like challenge yourself to become who you want to be in this world. If you're an introvert, that doesn't mean you can't add value. A lot of introverts have high skills to get things done. Like you understand who you are, be happy who you are. Don't try to be nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should try to be me. I've seen that before. I know it's possible that people might try to be like me, but remember, I'm set apart. I'm like who I am. We're all different. We all add different levels of value. You know what I'm saying? We have our eyebrows, we have our eyes to be able to see, we have our nose to be able to smell. Like the eyes should not be jealous of the nose should not be jealous of the eye. We all play a part. You have your mouth, you have your ears, you have your hair, you have your hair. Right, I don't have any hair. I like the joke sometimes. Okay. You have your fingers. I know it's a delay. I know we're gonna have like some reactions of me talking about being bald. You got your elbows. All these things play a part. Okay, nothing's really more important than the other, right? Some might add more value than others. You know, you have different skill sets, right? You have this story about the parables where talents were given to three different people, right? You had one that was given talent, and he did nothing with it. Okay, there go the laughs. Okay, it was a little delayed. And then you got another guy. You got one that was given the talent, he did nothing with it. You got another guy who was given two talents, he doubled it. You got another guy who was given five talents. Like imagine it's quarters or dollars. The guy was given $5, he doubled it, right? And then the person who gave out the money went away and came back, and he said the one who had one, he didn't have anything left. He just had that one. And then the master was like, "You wicked servant! You know, you should have gave my money to the bank, and at least I would have got some interest on it." The one that had two and doubled it to four, he was like, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You was faithful over little. Now I'll allow you to have more." Right. Then the one that had five, he said the same thing. "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You was faithful over little things. Now I'll make you ruler over many things." Right. That's what you want to hear from your manager, from your parents, from someone of high value to you. You want them to be appreciative, right? Appreciative of what they've given you and how you expanded on that, right? How you've like multiplied it, how you've grown it. You don't want to sit on anything, right? I'm going on this tangent. Why am I going on it? Because whatever you have, you can continue to build on it. Don't just sit on it. Don't just sit on it. Don't just be like, "Oh, this is where I'm at and that's all there is to it." Be happy with who you are. Take what you've been given. You are important. You are special. And what you have to offer is of value. But that don't mean you stop there. You continue to build on it. Take what you have and multiply it. Don't try to be Beyonce. Don't try to be Jay-Z. Be yourself. Okay? Let's see what else we got. Hope that helps. How can someone build confidence when they're in a season of failure or uncertainty? Okay. Good question. You guys, we got 9 minutes. You guys know I come to you from 8:30 to 9:30 and we finish on time. I don't know if anybody appreciate that, but I know I do because I got to sleep. I'm appreciative of your time. I want you to be appreciative of mine and be able to ask the questions, spend the time, grow in the community with me, spend the time learning. That's what I want. I'm coming to you guys. When you ask questions, I'm able to answer those. When you don't ask questions, it kind of comes to me that, everything is going good. I want you guys to understand that you can be vulnerable here as I'm being vulnerable with you and ask any questions that help push you forward. Eventually, you guys, I'm going to be at a level where people book sessions with me and it's not for free. Right now, you guys can ask me anything and I'm going to like be able to give you the answer within a time frame. You know what I'm saying? And this is the same approach that I'm giving to people that's going to be paying me, right? Right now, like this is the special opportunity people haven't called on to just like take advantage of the time that we have together. And those who are asking questions, I'm sure they're getting ahead. This is real things. Like this question right here. How can someone build confidence when they're in a season of failure? Like somebody might be experiencing failure or uncertainty in this group. Someone's being asked that question for the group, right? Because a lot of like people are losing jobs. I think Microsoft laid off. A lot of time, the average earner at a Microsoft company is probably the average salary is probably like close to six figures. And so if people losing jobs, right, they fix their lifestyle around that income. That's gonna hurt. So they could be feeling failure or uncertainty, because they lost their job. I know that's how I felt at one point when I lost my job. Okay, so this is a real question, and I hope this really helps somebody. Okay, so how do you build confidence? Right, I understand that can hit your self-esteem, right? It can hit your confidence in a way, and where you kind of feel undervalued, you kind of feel helpless, right? It's important. Once again, I remember sharing this. It's important to have a strong support group, right? Your friends, your family, right? It's important to. Somebody said, "Nah." I hope this ain't a bad apple hits my bank account. I hope this ain't a bad apple. Okay, John. All right, so for sure when you experience failure, it has a negative effect on you, right? And you have to like have that support group. Continue to build that support group. It's a support group here, the LaFred effect. You know what I'm saying? We know that we can come here and we can like open up, and there's people that's in the house, in the building, that's gonna like greet you, right? That's gonna talk to you and be real with you, right? That's what it's about. It's about having that, because it's not about if it's going to come, if failure, uncertainty is going to come. It's about when it's going to come. It happens. I talked about up and down. Sometimes you have that setback that sets you up for something greater. It's only a matter of time when the next challenge comes, because we have to level up. And the way that we're leveling up is through challenges. We're going to experience those challenges, right? I've experienced those challenges. I'm a witness that I'm here. I've experienced those challenges. Can I expect not to experience challenges in the future? That would be naive of me. Challenges come, right? But I'm building my support group. I'm building myself up. I'm building in order to know when those challenges come that I will succeed, because what I'm leaning on when those challenges come, when I'm in the valley, what am I leaning on? What am I getting closer to? When I'm getting closer to meditating, I'm like learning more about myself, right? I'm like realizing like what do I need to do? Like what type of pivot do I need to make? You know what I'm saying? How do I prevent myself from being in this predicament, in the future? I've done that many times, right? When I've done that many times, especially when it comes down to money, right? When I'm like, okay, when I had 80,000, right, and I was in the stock market, I had double my money and I got a good amount of money, and I'm like, I'm still in the stock market. Maybe I should have bought a property, right? So then I put that down payment on a couple of properties, and now I got a tenant in there paying down the mortgage. That's a slow process, but it's a strong, secure asset. Maybe I could have got a couple of properties at that time. You know what I'm saying? And then play with 20,000 or 40,000 in the market. You know what I'm saying? Like continue to refine my strategy. At the time where I doubled my money, I didn't have a sure strategy. I liquidated, so I had a lot of money from the houses, and then I messed around and doubled it in the stock market, but I didn't go back into real estate. I kept the money and worked myself back into a job. And then of course when I got the job, I said, Lord, you said if a man don't work, he don't eat. I ended up getting a job that had my highest salary at the time, and I built myself up. And that's when I started acquiring the next property. After the liquidation, I got the next property after that. Actually, that next job, I obtained two properties within that role. It was like within a 2 year time frame, I ended up with two properties, right? And I'm still at that same place. I'm getting close. Maybe next year I'll buy a third one. Maybe this year or next year I'll buy my third property for the first time. But the thing is, when you feel uncertainty, if you feel failure, it's about a time of reflection, having a support group, understanding that you still have value, if not even more value after you experience that failure, because now you know what it feels like. And you have the opportunity to think about what you could do better to prevent that from happening again. You're in a stronger position, believe it or not. When you lose that job, you're in a stronger position in certain ways. It might not be income wise, because now you don't know when you're gonna, of course, get that next job. So now it's like, your expenses is broken down on a day-to-day basis, and you got nothing coming in. You're getting behind in your net worth, behind in your bills. So I get, in one aspect, it's tough, it's dry, but in its totality, you are stronger, you are wiser when stuff like that happens to you, right? So count it all joy when things happen, because you're actually able to learn from that and grow. Okay, I got an opportunity to answer one more question. Hope that helps you guys. I know I went pretty deep on that one, but I know for sure I answered that. And if you're able to ask follow-ups, eventually we're going to have a group called like the LaFred effect, like overtime or something like that, like further discussion, where after live we'll have this opportunity for maybe a select amount of people that's been showing up consistently to be in a group to say, hey, I like what LaFred said here, and hey, this is something that I want to work towards here. This is something I want to learn more about here. How do you guys, do you guys feel the same? You know what I'm saying? What did you get from LaFred? You be able to talk amongst the community, right? Of, people that are showing up looking to get something. That's what we're going to create for you guys. I'm excited about it. Okay, this last question right here, then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, it says, can you share a time when self-doubt almost held you back from making a move that ended up mattering a lot? Self-doubt. Man, you guys, I know the Lord has blessed me, because I really don't have too many examples of that. Like, I really had to take time to think about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cautious of the time. It's the time of self-doubt. Maybe on the football field at some point, right? Maybe on the football field. And when having self-doubt, I can tell you that can hurt you. That can hurt you. Maybe on a football field, I was like, not feeling as confident in my skill set. and my strength or something like that, and my ability to do this and that, to catch the ball. And that can hurt you. It can hurt, your confidence, and showing up the next time. It can hurt you physically. Maybe somebody see that and they want to take a shot at you. You gotta, it's okay to be vulnerable, right? But whatever you got inside of you, right? You got to bring that forward to minimize self-doubt. You got to be able to train your mind. Remember those affirmations that I put out there. Play those things. Talk to yourself in order to minimize that self-doubt. It does come at times, but it shouldn't last long. Okay? Yes, I've experienced self-doubt, but that wasn't the end of the story. I said, I can do better. I am great. I can do great things in this world. People value me. People love me. I'm going to show up. You guys, that's what it's about. That's what you have to do on a day-to-day basis, okay? And I'm gonna help you do that here in this community, right? It's the LaFred effect, where we have real talk, we go deep, and we build forward. Until next time, stay focused, stay grounded, and above all, stay real. Peace.